Hi guys, this is Ashley back with Lumefinity. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Bamm Bamm from the Flinstones. In order to create him, you'll need about 20 yellow rubber bands for the bone, 95 skin rubber bands, 36 brown bands for his hat and his little piece that comes across the chest that attaches to his pants, a light brown for his bat. I used the light brown that's in the mixed bag from Rainbow Loom for the camo. If you don't have that specific brown, if you just have a lighter brown, I've even seen pictures where his bat looks like it's green or even an olive green. So if you don't have a different color brown, you could always maybe use that. And then you'll need about 16 white rubber bands. You'll also need 2 white pony beads for the eyes and 2 yellow pony beads for the buttons on his pants. If you do not have the pony beads for the eyes, you can just use white bands, and for the buttons you could use yellow bands wrapped 4 times on your hook. So if you want to go ahead and grab your supplies, we can go ahead and get started. The first part that we are going to create is the bone, and the bone is actually created in 2 pieces. I've already created one, so I'll show you how to make one, and then you'll just have to make the second one. Just pause the video to do that. So you're going to start on the top center portion of your loom. You'll be using yellow bands. Coming down from the center first to the center second peg, you're going to take a single yellow and double it and come down, and you're going to do that twice. And if you watched the video for Pebbles, it's the same design that I used for the bone in her hair. Take 3 yellow bands. You're going to go from the center 3rd peg to the left 3rd peg at an angle. And you're going to repeat that again, going to the right. So 3 yellow bands from the center 3rd to the right 3rd. And then push those down. Take a single yellow and cap off these 2 pegs. You're going to create 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. You're going to do that again on the other side. 1, 2, 3. Once those are in place, you can go ahead and begin hooking. So you're going to go through the capping band, and because there are 3 bands, you're going to want to hold your capping band down, otherwise it will slip off the top. So just hold it down with your finger, pulling up your 3 bands, bringing them to the center. Do the same thing on this side. Then go in, grabbing the single double band on the bottom of all the yellow, and we're going to loop this up. Then just grab a holding hook. Once it comes off, it's going to look a little mushed, so you're just going to grab the corners where the capping bands are and pull them out. If they, one of them is hanging out more, just grab all 3 to even them out and pull them out at the corners. And that gives you half of the bone. So go ahead and pause the video, make a second one, and then we can move on. The next part that we'll be creating is the arm and the foot. I have made one of each, so I'm going to show you how to make these 2, and then just pause the video and make one more of each one. You'll be using these skin bands for this. And if you can't hear that, I actually keep my bands in bags. It's what works best for me. I had them in cases, but then the slightest jiggle would mix them up, so I keep them in big Ziploc bags. Okay, so for the arm, you're going to come down 4 times on the left side of the loom with 2 skin colored bands. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to cap this off, creating 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. And we can go ahead and loop that up. Grab a holding hook, and pull it off, and we'll just set that one aside for later. And now I'm going to show you how to make the foot. Same thing with skin bands. You're coming down on the top left of the loom with 2 bands, coming down once. The next one is a single skin colored band. You're going to double it, coming down once. The next is 3 skin bands, and you'll come down once. And you then want to cap this off, creating 3 loops. So 1, 2, 3. And then go in through the capping band. Again, because there's 3 bands, I would hold the capping band down. Grab your holding hook and remove that and set it aside for later. So go ahead and pause the video, make one more foot, one more arm, and then we can continue on from there. The next thing that we're going to create is the strap that goes across his chest and the bill for his hat. You will be using brown bands for that. So for the strap, you're just going to use single bands, and you're going to come down 4 times with just a single brown band on each peg. And you are going to cap this off, creating 3 loops. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3. And we can go ahead and just loop that up. Grab a holding hook and set that aside. Really basic part of his layout. And then for the hat bill, we're going to use the same one that we used on the Hewey, Dewey, and Lewey. So take 2 brown bands, and we're actually, the placement of that, it goes higher up than Hewey, Dewey, and Lewey did, and I did the same exact one here. I did the 4, but I think that the hat bill does kind of stick out far. So for the tutorial today, I'm actually going to do 3, and we'll just see how that comes out. That way it's not protruding so much. So we're going to take 2 brown bands, and you're going to come down 3 times. And you're going to cap this off, creating 3 loops. And then just loop to the top. Grab a hook. And then just set that aside for later. Now we can go ahead and start laying out the body. So you're going to start at the top of the loom with 2 brown bands, and the whole body will be double bands unless I specify otherwise, just in case I forget to say it along the way. So you're going to take 2 brown bands coming from the center top peg out to the left, and you're going to do the same thing going to the right. You then want to come down the center with 2 brown bands. Taking 2 more brown bands, you're going from the first left peg to the center second peg. So you're recreating the V going down almost like a diamond. And you're going to repeat that on this right side as well. You're now going to switch over to some white bands. You're going to come down the left hand side twice with 2 white bands. So it's 1, 2. Repeat that on the right side. And you're going to take 2 white bands on the center second to the second third pin. And now you want to switch to your skin bands. And you're going to come down the left side of the loom 2 times with 2 skin bands. And then bringing it into the chin peg. Repeat that on the right. And then filling in the center of the face. We then want to create the neck, and to do the neck I used 3 skin colored bands coming down the center. And now we're going to move into the body. You're going to take 2 skin colored bands coming from the neck out to the left, and you want to repeat that going to the right. Now before you continue down the body, we actually need to attach the strap here that goes across the body because we want it to come up and over the shoulder. The first one I had made, I tried to attach it last like everything else, and it actually went right through the middle of his chest. So we're going to attach this piece at this point, only the top part. So on the right hand side where you just placed the skin band here, you're going to take that single chain that you created and just attach this to that peg, like so. And now we can continue down further. So now you want to come down the left side of the loom with 2 skin bands 3 times. And repeat that on the right. And then switching to, or no, I'm sorry, fill in the center as well, coming down 3 times with 2 skin bands. Now we'll switch back to brown. You're going to come down the center peg once with 2 brown and do the same thing on the left and on the right with 2 brown. You then want to connect the center peg where the brown ended. You're going to connect that at an angle to the left, and that's from the 3rd center peg from the bottom to the 3rd left peg from the bottom, and repeat that on the other side. And then switching back to your skin bands, you'll come down to the end of your loom on the left side with 2 skin colored bands. And repeat that on the right hand side as well. And this is what you should have. Now we can go ahead and attach some of our pieces that we need to add in. So we can go ahead and grab our arms and our feet. For the arms, you'll just attach those to the 2 shoulder pegs. And your feet you will just attach to the bottom. And go ahead and grab the 2 bone pieces. Those will be attached where the skin colored here and the brown meet. So that is the 4th peg from the bottom. You're going to attach them so that they sit side by side. So when I take my bone, I'm going to attach this one here, facing in, and then this one I'm going to face towards the outside of the loom. Just like that. So you end up with the bone coming across. Now we also need to create some ears and a nose. And I'm not sure how often this happens to anyone else, but I was actually creating a nose, twisted something wrong, and ended up with a technique that I actually like better than just creating the loops on your hook. So we'll start with the nose just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Normally when we create the nose for a lot of our characters, we just take the band and you would just loop it like this. And then on the back side you kind of end up with this band that stretches all the way across. And then it sometimes when you put it on the band itself, it looks kind of loose, or the pieces come separated so it ends up looking like this on the character with all these little separation pieces. So, and again, like I said, I didn't even intend to do it, but it ended up happening, and so I figured out how to do it. So hopefully you'll be able to understand what I'm going to say. If not, I do apologize. Just do it the regular way you know how. But to create the nose, we're going to do 3 loops, but you want to start by making the first 2. So you go on the hook and just loop that twice. Now to make the 3rd loop, instead of just twisting and looping, pull this and twist this twice, like this, and then loop that. That will give you, and I'm not sure that you can see this or not, but that gives you this little knot, and when we put it on the other band, it actually holds all of this together. So now to finish off the nose, let me show you again just in case you couldn't see it that well. Okay, so take your single band, you're going to pull it on your hook, twist it to loop it once, and then when you pull out, don't just twist it and put it back on. You want to take it and twist twice and then push it back on your hook. And you can see it gives you a neater design back here. So now when I take my single, I'm going to double this. And first of all, it makes it easier to grab these to pull them on, because you can just grab right here and pull them. And now, when you pull this over on the front side, it kind of holds everything together. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. Like I said, it was an accidental thing. So I kind of liked the way it came out. And if you look at his nose here, it just keeps it from having that fan effect, because sometimes when we put the nose on, you have to keep trying to play with the top and pinch everything back together. And now we're going to take a single band and pull all of this on. This will be placed from the 4th peg on the right to the 4th on the left. And then it'll just go straight in the center. And then to create the ears, again, we'll be using some skin bands. We'll do that directly on the hook. Take a single band, create 4 loops, and take a single, double it, pull your 4 loops on. This will be placed on the 3rd peg on the right, and we're going to make another one for the 3rd peg on the left. So again, take a single, create 4 loops, take another single, double it, pulling that onto the hook, and then placing that on the 3rd peg on the opposite side, just like that. We also need to place some crossover bands, so we're going to start at the top. We don't need any in the area of the brown, so starting on the 2nd peg down, take a single white and create a triangle from the 2nd on the left to the 2nd on the right. Then switching over to our skin colored bands, you're going to take a single skin on the 3rd peg down, straight across with the triangle. Go ahead and do one on the next row. Oh, no, sorry, you don't need it on that row because of the nose. So on the 5th peg from left to right. Moving down into the body, we're going to place a crossover band starting the peg below the arms, creating our triangle. Going to do that again. We also want to place one here, right where the bone is, in brown. I think I placed this before I put the bone on. Okay, don't kill me, guys. We all know that I have a tendency to do this sometimes. You want to pull the bone pieces back off. Place your crossover band and then put the bone on. Sorry. I've been trying to get all these tutorials caught up since I've had a couple days off work, and so sometimes all of the designs, even though I have my own little notes, they kind of get away from me. Okay, and we also want to place our eyes. So you're going to take your 2 white beads, a skin colored band, and feed them through. And these will go on the 3rd peg on the left to the 3rd peg on the right. And we are going to separate them and pull this band down on the 4th pin on the center, just like that. And then we also need to place our buttons. And to do that, you'll need a single brown band, and just feed that through your yellow beads. Just like that. And this will be placed on the same pin that your bone is on. So on the 4th pin from the bottom, straight across. Just pull the bone down and then separate these here on each side. Just real quick, I know I don't normally do this on my tutorials because a lot of people already know how to do it, but just to be clear, this is the same way as the eyes. So if you do not have the yellow beads, all you do is take a single yellow band on your hook, create 4 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You would do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just take a single brown, the same way we just did with the beads, and just pull your bands on. And then you would place this here and separate them on the 2 sides to create the buttons. And you would do the same thing for the eyes if you did not have the white beads. Now we have everything in place. We don't need the bill of his hat just yet. We can go ahead and begin looping. So we're going to go in under the feet, grabbing the bottom 2, and loop this up. Stopping at the top of the leg, do the same thing on this side. Usually you can just loop the body and it's all the same. But in this case, we actually need to loop the center and the right side of the body first. So you're going to go back in the right side of your leg, grab the top 2 brown bands and bring them to the center. We can do that on this side as well because we need to do that in order to loop the center. So go in on the left, grabbing the top 2 and bringing them to the center. My bone is getting in the way here. Okay, now we can go in the center, grab our bottom 2 brown bands. My beads want to come back together. And just loop straight up to the neck peg. Then we're going to go in on the right, make sure you do the right side first, and loop up the right side of the body. Now we're going to go in, grabbing this first brown band here, and we're going to loop this up. And now we need to pull our strap over. Forgot to grab this one. Go in through the arm too. We're looping all the way up to the bottom of the neck. Now we're going to go in, find your little triple capping band here. And you want to make sure you get all 3 on the hook. And make sure it's not twisted. So you actually want to feed your hook through this side since we're pulling it across the body. So I'm going to turn this and I'm going to take my hook through the back side of that capping band. And then you're going to pull this across the body and hook it to the same peg that the bone is on. Just like that. Once that's in place, now we can go in and loop up the left side of the body. There is a lot of tight bands on here, so you want to be careful when you pull that you don't snap the bands, and they are not cooperating with me whatsoever. And then just stick your hook in and rotate to relieve some of that tension. I can even see my bands trying to snap, so hopefully they will last. And then we're going to loop the rest of the way up here. Okay, then we're going to go in. If you need to, turn sideways because this is a lot of skin bands. Don't forget the neck has 3 bands. And you're going to grab those bottom 3 and loop those up. Then we're going to go in, grabbing the first 2 skin colored bands and loop those up. And at this point, we can go ahead and loop the center row all the way up. When you get here, don't forget about these brown bands that have to go off to the side. When you go through the nose area, you just go ahead and pop the nose through those bands so it doesn't get lost. Now going in here, grabbing the first 2 brown, bringing them to the right, the next 2 to the left, and the center one, bring that one up. Go back in the neck peg, chin peg, and go to the right. You want to stop. Nope, see, even I made a mistake again today. Pull this brown that you looped, pull that off the peg and hold it on your hook. Take this white and put that on and then bring the brown back. You'll have to do the same thing on this side as well. But you want to stop on this peg here. And then go back in the chin peg, coming up to the left. So I'm going to pull this one out. If you need to use hooks, you can. Sometimes fingers work too. And then I'll hook this back. Now we need to add the bill of his hat. So we're going to take that. You want to hook it from the left top peg to the right top peg. So I'm going to hook that. I'm going to go in here to this triple capping band. Make sure my hook goes through all 3. And you're just going to pull it across and hook it to that peg. Now we can go in, grabbing the bottom 2 brown bands on each side. Not too many. And bring it up to the top. One other piece that we need to add is the little poofy ball thing here on the top of his head. You, if you make him again, you can always add that on before you loop. I just, again, completely forgot to do it. So you're going to take a single white on your hook, create 3 loops, and do that again. You're going to do this a total of 3 times. Take a single white, double it, and we're going to pull all of this on. And then pinch it. And we're going to attach this on this top peg. Now it's up to you if you want to pull these back off. I'm not sure how it's going to look sitting, like not being attached in the center, and I wish now I had shown you this before. I hate to make people unhook, but to get the actual design, you probably want to just unhook your last two things that you looped, the last two browns, and then take this white, place it on this peg, and then just pull these back over. I know right now some of you out there are getting frustrated with me because I'm making you unhook things. And if it's anything like me, I don't like to unhook once it's hooked. Okay, there you go. And then take a single brown. I'm going to go in and create your slip knot. Now, when you come around to make the slip knot, take your white puffy ball, go through to grab the back of the band. This is up to you whether you want to do it, if it's easier for you to do it that way, or if you can, flip him over and pull the front one through the back, because when he comes off, you're just going to have to feed it through and hide it anyways. So if I pull it through the back, like this, and I broke my band earlier making a slip knot when I recreated him again. There we go. And now we'll go ahead and take him off the loom. Okay, there he is. Push his eyes forward and make sure the bill of his hat is evened out a little. And pull his legs down and his arms out. Now, for his feet, just flip him over. And remember there was a single double band in here. Stick your hook through and just pull out. Just like that. And again, as we all know, my Sharpies disappear. So you're just going to take a Sharpie, push the beads forward, and draw your black pupils on like so. Now, once he is all in place, we can go ahead and get ready to make his little bat, if you would like. That will be the next part of the video. Okay, the last thing that we're going to create is his little bat, and we're using the lighter colored brown for that, and this is just a really simple and easy part. So you're going to take a single light brown on the left hand side of your loom, and you're going to double it. And you're going to come down twice like that, so another single double. Then we're going to do 2 light brown bands, and you're going to do what I call a double-double. So we're going to double that, both bands together. And we're going to do that again. So 2 light brown bands, double-double. Then you're going to take 2 light brown bands, coming down twice. And then you'll come down with 3 light brown bands, finishing it off at the end with 4 light brown bands. You're then going to cap this, creating 3 loops. Now, when you go in to go through the capping band, make sure you hold this capping band down, because with 4 bands it will slip. And just loop this all the way up. On these double bands, I would not suggest using a plastic hook, because that's a lot of tension on the hook and it will probably break. Now, once you get to this top peg, take your hook, go underneath. So you have 2 little sets of bands here. Grab the bottom and pull it over, creating a slip knot. And just tighten that. And then we're going to go ahead and remove this. And grab where your capping band was. Grab all 3, otherwise you'll end up with 1 really long band. And then just pull the bat out. See, I did it. I grabbed 1 band. Okay. And there is the little bat, and you're just going to take it, and you're looking at your Bamm Bamm. So take his hand. Here's his capping band we did on the arm, and you're going through that band. Grab that slip knot band and pull it into his hand, and then just pull down to the base of the knot. So a little bit of the band is actually in those 3 bands right here. And then all I did was take this here, stretch it out, and pull it through the bat, and then just pull it towards the end with his hand right there. And that is how you create Bamm Bamm's bat. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you like him. Don't forget to like or subscribe to my video for updates on future tutorials.